listen to it again and again and again. And then, after listening one tip, just contemplate, reflect on it. And once you reflect on it, you will find the mind will say it is so easy to do it. Why I was not doing it? But because if you tell very casual and easy things in the beginning, the mind says, I already know it. What is the need of doing it? So you see that. So, first thing, the goal is very important in meditation. So, when I say goal, so it means that the goal is extremely important in every mental effort. Anything that we do mentally, the goal is very important. So it means what? The goal should be clear. Where it should be clear? It should be clear in my intellect. Say, for example, the goal, or I would say the house, where is your house located, is very clear in your intellect. So even if the mind is crazy, the intellect helps you to take you to the home. It appears very simple. That is the reason we never forget we are married or we are not. We never forget where is our house or not. What is our car or not. You see that? That is why we never forget when we are eating food, it doesn't go to the nose, it goes into the mouth. So I am relating this to the goal. The mind should never forget the goal. So, what happens in meditation? Because the intellect is clear about the goal, in meditation, the mind realizes that goal we have fixed in the intellect. Now, see one great master, Raman Maharshi. So, Maharshi Raman says, someone asked him, what is the object of meditation? So he said, meditate on that who meditates in you. Who is meditating on you? It is the highest meditation. So ultimately, we are, through the practice of meditation, we are reaching there. Who is meditating on? Who is doing the meditation in me? No, I'm doing meditation. Okay. Who is this I? So the moment we reach who meditates on in me, and I get a glimpse of it, you are filled with the joy. Same way as we reach our house from the work outside, there is a sense of comfort and the joy. Same way the mind enjoys that state. So ultimately, we have to reach there. But even if the mind does not or is not able to think about it, no worries, but contemplate. Say, now you have this first step. So now okay, let me start meditation. So you are doing the practice. that I have given to you. So what happens now? Before you start meditation, your eyes are closed. Okay, let me know who is meditating. Become aware of it for a few minutes and then follow the practice, and you will see that your result in that meditation is very deeper. Now the goal is fixed and automatically. The mind is reminding you. Intellect has settled into that. Who is meditating? Oh, and you will see the joy takes over. Oh, it's such a beautiful. Why the joy takes over, that we will understand little later. And that is also a very simple thing, but that we will. So now see that what happens in meditation. That needs to be clearly understood. And if you are aware in your mind, when you say she is my wife or he is my husband, so we have a relationship. But at the same time, we have separated our relations with the rest of the world. She is my only wife, he is my only husband, this is my house. So I have separated myself from the rest of the houses. You see the importance of the goal? Importance of the goal. So what happens? Build a relationship. Get attached to the real self through contemplation, reflection, contemplation. Build a relationship. Oh, my honey, real self. So, what is going to happen? The mind will detach itself from the objects of the world. When the mind will detach itself from the world, then what will happen? Then the mind has stopped wandering. When it has stopped wandering, it will leave the Rajasic and the Tamasic Guna. And that Tamasic and Rajasic Guna is left. It will keep the mind in the Sattvic state even when you are working in the office, you are working at home, you are talking to someone. So internally, we are changing that relationship. I will oppose this principle again, but at a later stage. So, what happens in every meditation? We are actually breaking the relationship with the world outside. So, why not start doing by thinking and contemplating? I'm living in this house. House is made up of 5 elements. This house does not belong to me. This house belongs to 5 elements. Fact is this. So, by saying so in your mind and becoming aware, same way with the body, same way with the breath, same way with the mind and the thoughts. So, what is going to happen? That the mind, which is obsessed with lot of thoughts, of wrong notions and ideas, will drop from your mind during the day. And then you are doing the meditation. So there will be a deep absorption in meditation. You see, it's very simple, but it's very important. I see honey, okay. Honey belongs to herself or to me. I belong to myself or to anyone else. You raise a question. So that will stop accumulating the impressions and it will keep the mind clear. I can talk of these things only now. I was waiting for the time. So you see that there is one meditation where we say, where we fix our goal to realize the image of a God. There are a lot of things, that we need to talk about it. The first point is, I see the God is everything. So if we believe that there is a God, so we say everything belongs to the God, including my house, body, mind, intellect, everything. That is one way to break the relationship. Another way to break the relationship, say, but it does not mean if you are a Christian, you are passing through the church. So the mind says, oh, church, God, Jesus is sitting there, let everything. I know, I'm aware that everything belongs to Him. And then wait, become aware. One way. I'm not talking about religion, cult, dogma, and belief. Now, the other rational way. What is the rational way? The world exists by itself. All the solar system exists by itself. These five elements composes the house and the body and everything. So everything is happening by itself. Whether I am alive, whether I will die, this world will remain as it is. So body will come and body will go. That is another perception. So when there is a pain and the suffering in the body, let us see, let us check whether you are aware or not. You are breaking a relationship. You are using a tool. You are using a device during the day. In meditation, we break all the relationship from the world outside. Then only I can realize my real nature. Now, see what problem comes in these steps to follow. The mind lives with the wrong notion, and then this mind goes with the wrong notion. It creates an authority in the mind. The mind says, I know everything, but still the mind keeps the wrong notion. What is that? How to understand that? How to understand that? So, let us understand by an example. So, we have an expert of infectious diseases, Dr. Fauci. He is a leading world expert. So he says vaccine is safe to take. And everybody started taking the vaccine. Our vice president elect and other dignitaries have taken this. Do the president elect know that the vaccine is safe from the Fauci, from the scientist? The scientist has seen what chemical it is there, how it will affect the body, and how, whether it is safe or not. He has studied all the trials done on the individuals for more than 5,000 people. He knows everything. Conclusion, one statement: vaccine is safe. So from him, I say the vaccine is safe. I don't know anything. I don't know anything, but I still say vaccine is safe. Clear? Now let me apply. So when I say, oh, when the master says, Om Shanti, 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 they see the very, feel the image and the experience that Om is here and the Shanti is pouring down into the physical body, into the subtle body, into the causal body, and beyond. Masters has done the research. You also say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. But whenever we master says Om Shanti, Shanti, they mean it. There is a realization. So that realization we need to reach to. Because all these method and the practices have undergone thousands of trials for the last 6, 7, 8,000 years. But the mind says, okay, close your eyes, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The mind is in a hurry. Mind has no image about its goal. So I become aware of this goal all the time. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Say your mind is wandering at the workplace. It is in conflict, and you mentally say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And if the mind calms down completely, you have been entering into that state. Very simple steps. What is meditation? It is a natural state of the mind. What is the natural state of the mind? It lives in the pure sattvic state. What is pure sattvic state? That mind lives in knowledge and wisdom and is always calm, poised, relaxed. Natural state of the mind, I said, by default, the natural state of the mind is pure sattvic. What is pure sattvic? It has two elements, knowledge and poise, calm, peace, joy. So before going into meditation, the mind says, I have put an agenda to meditate. Stay there for 5 minutes, check. Is the mind sattvic? Is the mind already poised, calm? And then you practice meditation. Then see what happens. Very small tips, but very big, very important. So, only the sattvic mind succeeds in meditation. Only the sattvic mind becomes a good listener. Only the sattvic mind absorbs the knowledge. And that sattvic mind keeps our mind into the fourth state, subjective state, ekagrata. So, what the master is saying, I need not to practice focus and concentration. I need to look at the mind. What is the state of the mind? How the mind is behaving and how the mind is responding. You look at honey and the mind says sensuality, so it has built up the relationship. You see the honey and the mind does not have that element of sensuality. It is a one human being. Let me move with love, care. Remember Nitya Karma, Naimitya Karma. You see that? So everything is related. Everything is related. Whatever we are learning, everything is related. But this will happen only when the goal of meditation or goal of life is clear. I look at honey, what is goal of life? To express and awaken to the true nature so that I see the same self in me and in my honey. So when there is a same self, the sensuality, the relationship based on sensuality drops away. Your mind does not even think of it. Very small things too. Huh? Otherwise, what happens? The mind goes back and it picks up its impulsive, habitual, instinctive nature, and then it goes with the likes and dislikes. When it goes with the likes and dislikes, then it creates a wandering mind, a distracted mind, and forgetfulness, dominated by Rajo and Tamoguna. And it is 100% possible. Why I said so, there is another reason that in that way we start living in a meditative state 24 by 7. I have repeated, I think, thousands of times with you that once meditation succeeds, when we live and work in meditation, behind all our thought, speech, and action, there is a meditative state. And we believe it, but we have to go a little deeper. And then we say, yes, it is possible. The way Dr. Fauci says, here is a vaccine, we have done the trial. So we have to do the trial in day to day life. It is not one day affair. And then we are moving towards awakening, realization, and transformation. Then there is another, yes. So now see that we have started that we have to break the relationship with the world outside. And who builds the relationship in us? The one who depends on these objects. Who depends on that object? That is ego. There is no other than the ego in the intellect. So we have to crush this ego. We have to treat this ego. So tell your ego, am I really significant in the world? If I'm significant, what is my place in time? Ask your ego that what is my place, what is my significance in the scheme of the time? Billions of years have passed for the existence of the earth. Do you believe it? Yes. How old you are? 50 years. How long possibly you can live? Okay, let me see, 200 years. Compare 200 years with the billions of years that have passed and billions of years in the future. Am I significant? No. As far as time is concerned, I am totally insignificant. Am I significant with what I say? I build my ego with the body, with the prestige, with the recognition. All comes with this body. So let me contemplate and reflect. How small, if this body is a box, how many boxes will come in this room? Maybe 1,000. And in the entire home, maybe 50,000. And how smaller I am as compared to the town, to the city, to the country, to the earth planet, to the solar system. Am I really significant? I don't know about my death. What is going to happen the next moment? The death is certain, but the time is uncertain. So, in between certainty and uncertainty, the fear comes. The fear comes only when I am uncertain. Fear is always of the unknown. Why there should be a fear of the known? So, what happens every day, every time when your mind feels anxious, stress, or some pressure, or maybe fatigue, ask yourself, what is your place in this world? And start contemplation. Start contemplation. I went to Arunachal Pradesh, it's the northeastern area of uh, India, where it's more or less the Buddhist state bordering China. So there is a tradition. The person dies, they put it into the dead body into the river, flowing river, and they wait there. So big fish comes and they eat the flesh. And what is left is the skull. The skull becomes totally clean. They bring that skull and they put it in the front of the house for 5 or 6 generations. So every time they enter into the house, they know we are going to meet this fate. They return, they come back to the house. Okay, now it is my turn. They never forget. You see that? So these tips helps us to break the relationship. That is the problem of bondage. Relationship or bondage, both are the same thing. Because the mind does not want to leave that relationship with the body, with the breath, with the mind, with the possessions, with the house, with the money, with the wealth, with the wife, with the husband, and that mind causes the wandering mind, distracted. It goes into hallucination, it goes into imagination. So you give this mind a very strong dose of vaccine. I remember something that I'll take up later because that I will not talk in the audio. I will talk. That is a very, sometimes very harsh measure you take for this mind to break that relationship. And once the relationship is broken, you see, then where is the attachment? Where is the detachment? Where is the likes and dislikes? Where is the pain and the pleasure? And where is the identification? Then what happens? You just close your eyes and you are already, you simply say, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And what do you see? You see the body becomes steady by itself. The breath becomes normal. The mind continues to live within simply by saying Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There is another way to deepen this practice, that the way means that all this mind continues to think of unnecessary, unwanted thoughts. What happened in this modern world? Very important. I remember this is the first point, and then I'll go to the second point. What happened, my friend, that in the modern world, what we talk, are you healthy, means, is there any sickness or not? Are you in anxiety? So our mind lives with days after days. with a sense of anxiety, with a sense of fear, with a sense of likes and dislikes. Our mind, we never taught our mind, start thinking about peace, happiness, love, wisdom. Imagine, as the anxiety is also imagination because you are thinking in your mind. So why not we think in the mind of the peace? Now see, that is what is. My mind says real nature is of the nature of permanent happiness, love, and shanti. Peace is descending into every cell of the body. Or you may play with it. First shanti into the causal body, second shanti into the subtle body, third shanti into the physical body, including the world. And that anxiety, that duality goes away. Wrong notion has to be dropped. So once we have understood clearly that real self is this, intellectually we have conviction, we have clarity, we are doing the practice, we have experienced something deeper. Now is the time to translate that into reality. I am doing business. I will earn $1 million. For $500,000, I will buy a house. For $100,000, I will buy a luxury. This is all imagination. But I'm doing a work. I'm also doing a business based on my imagination. So why not I should use it? Why to use that imagination in anxiety, duality, conflict, fear? I'm going to succeed in meditation. Then what is going to happen? Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You see that? Dr. Fauci says vaccine is safe. Om Shanti 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 is 100% safe. You see that? That is the easier and the advanced approach to the journey of meditation. All our future talks and practices will go in this way. Yes, you see that sometime garage was dirty and lot of dust was there. So we started cleaning that with the bucket of water. Then we realized it is not possible. So we took a pipe and started cleaning that. The next day there was a rain, so that outside dirt and the dust was cleaned by the rain. These are the different ways to purify the mind. Sometimes we need a gallon of water. Sometimes the gallon of water will not work. We need a continuous flow of water. And sometimes, when the mind lives in sattvic guna, the purification takes place naturally. So, rain is satoguna, and you live into the satoguna. You continue to maintain that state throughout the day, and the mind is purified naturally by the rain of the satoguna. So, the gallon of water are different devices, different tools. We should not be discouraged that I'm not progressing, but to understand which particular thought or impressions is causing me the problem and what kind of a treatment it requires. A gallon of water or a tap, continuous, or simply a rainwater, natural state. That is another way. So sometime what happens? Mind says, no, I'm disturbed. No, no, calm down. There is nothing to be disturbed. Even the intellect and the mind does not listen to the right thing. Then I need something to be done with the continuous flow of the water. So there the breathing practices helps us. They are the breathing practices. So whenever we experience today breathing practices help me, it means there were a lot of previous impressions taking over my mind. And after doing that, I feel relaxed. It means, and someday you don't need those practices and still you feel very good. So that is another way to recognize. Recognize, the more you recognize, the better it is. In the same practice of meditation, one has to be aware that meditation is a movement. Movement from outside to inside, movement from false to truth, movement from ignorance to wisdom, movement from freedom for the mind to the freedom from the mind. Now, all these things are understood intellectually. There is a clarity and conviction. What about it practically, experientially? So I become aware of the world outside. So there is a first movement from the world outside to the body. You are aware of the world outside, no doubt about it. Everything is placed as it is. So, first movement in the field of awareness is from the world outside to the body. Now, stay in the body and check, is the body steady, relaxed, poised? That is why you already know it. I say being comfortable, being carefree. I always use these three steps in all practices of meditation. Then from the body to the sense organs. Then I have to become aware of the sense organs. Is any of the sense organ is running after any object? The tongue is running after any kind of a food. Oh, I have not taken a cup of tea. That's why, today's meditation will be a problem. Oh, no, I have taken a cup of tea. That is why I feel good in meditation. So both the relationship, I have to break it just by awareness. So from the world outside to the body, from the body to the sense organs, from the sense organs to the breath, from the breath to the mind, from the mind to the intellect, from the intellect to the ego, and from the ego to the real self. So, this goal, this journey is clear. So, sometimes we skip one or two steps in any meditation depending on our progress. But ultimately, this is what in one Upanishad it says, when the object of the world merges in the mind, when the mind merges in the intellect, when the intellect merges in the ego, then the ego merges into the real self, then we realize our true nature. That is the real meditation. That is the only way the meditation succeeds. They give an example of a turtle. They have one mouth, four legs, and when there is a danger or when it sleeps, it withdraws all the four limbs inside. That is one way to do it. Another way to understand, Before going to sleep, lie down on the bed and just check. The moment you feel sleepy, you will find every sense organ starts withdrawing within. You don't even feel the bed on which your body is there. The time comes. That is the natural way. It means we can learn from sleeping. So we should not take the sleep. Uh, we should not take the sleep. Uh, what we say? We should not take the sleep, or we should take the sleep seriously. Just lie down and then become aware of the five sense organs. How how these sense organs are withdrawing itself. Are withdrawing itself. Yes, in one of the text, very ancient text written almost thousands of years. So it says once a week, only once a week, you just create a bullet point on the paper. First is the what are important factors. Time is important. So think about the time. So are you taking care and maintain, go into sleep with awareness of relaxation, or you put the body into relaxation, or you withdraw the five sense organs first? Time is very important. When you wake up in the morning, I think I discussed about it. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thought should not pertain to the desire, but should pertain to the meditation. Because when we wake up, the mind with all the desires starts working. So I said, we give a break. Let me contemplate and think. Time. Second thing is also very important. You have a free time. What you do in your free time? Is there meditation is gone? Let me have some kind of a pleasure. So that pleasure creates an impression, and impression returns, and then the meditation is disturbed. Then you ask me what happens. Yeah. I have observed something, so I know that you posed some questions. So I said, okay, let me. I am not saying not go for the pleasure with awareness, with 100% awareness. Go for it. So ultimately, why I'm saying go for it? Because the mind is not listening to you, but you are internally becoming aware, and the time comes. Third factor, I would say the friends, relations. Sometimes these friends and relations they start talking nasty thing, and that disturbs our mind. So we have to be aware that what response we give to these people. So we give response. Do you remember the four principles that we talked? Listener, speaker. I think yes, I have covered. I've covered a lot of things. So being a listener, being a speaker, no listener, no speaker, you are in meditation, and then you break the habitual tendencies. Very small, significant principles. So one is gossiping, and your mind is aware, you know how to speak and express based on any principle. Friends, then actually what we do, and whatever you do, is more an intellectual activity, and that keeps the intellect sharp, is another factor. So you take every business activity factually, rationally, without inviting any conflict. So that will not create any impression. Place is wonderful. You live at a wonderful place. I have seen it, so there is no problem. The mantra that we are using is also good. And the next thing comes, how do we contemplate and reflect on these principles? There are 8 or 9 factors. How do we contemplate? So before your session began, I closed my eyes. I was sitting in a steady posture. I looked at the world, and from the world, I checked my sense organs where they are going. Then I checked the body is steady. So more or less in contemplation and reflection, body should remain steady, even with eyes closed or open. And then we pick up the principle, Shravana, what I have heard as it is. And then I start asking the questions for clarity and conviction. So, what is going to happen? The entire movement of your thought is fixed on one principle. That principle is also a thought. So, what is going to happen? Your mind will naturally enter into the fourth state of mind, and you will find your contemplation and reflection has become a meditative state. Have become a meditative state, and that leads to uh, a deeper state of meditation. Because I'm